the Ritz Baccara, which is one of the premier hotels in California, 70% occupancy, and they're at risk of defaulting on their loan.
But 70% for a hotel doesn't work, right? I don't know
No,
anything.
you have to be over 90.
And by the way, I went and looked at the rates. It was like $1,200.
I asked a friend in real estate, like he's just like, you can't break the price. You'll never be able to get the consumer to come back to whatever the $1,200 night.
You just go bankrupt instead?
Yeah.
The reason why it's 70% because there's no more money. We're broke.
I think everyone's broke.
I think there is a memo out that says, do not make it look bad. That's what I think.
So I have a friend that is at one of the more expensive private schools in LA. He said the discussion of Europe travel is like 90% off year over year.
Look, American Airlines came out with their earnings and they cut its revenue, cut its profit, stock got crushed. They're slashing capacity growth in the second half of the year. To me, that is the ultimate sign.
If families are deciding not to go this summer with their kids, that means they decided 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey, Anand.
What's going on?
Kathy's, I want you to send that same smoke to D because he's here, but he's in the other fucking room on a phone call. And all the Kathys were like, oh, D's so busy and he makes all the episodes. So that's fine. Just send him what you sent me because it's me and Anand on time getting started.
There's a chance D shows up in 30 minutes, but we don't know.
We don't know. We'll see. For all the hardcore D fans, stick it out. Might be worth it. Might not.
Probably not.
You know where we will hear about this is on our Discord. And I got to say, I wasn't really familiar with Discord before we started using it for this. And, you know, it's a cool thing where obviously our community can communicate, but our Discord is just popping off. Like there's a lot of people joining. I think the cool thing about the Kathys is like, I don't know, they all seem to like have a lot in common. You know, like it's definitely a type of person. Mm-hmm. Not super specific. It's not like the gym bro type or something like that, but like, you know, they all have an interest in similar things. And so everyone's jumping in on Discord to talk about me missing episodes and hopefully D being late to this one. But make sure you go over there. Josh, how do they do that?
There's a link in our bio to join the Chatty Cathy Club. And if you need any help,
Instagram?
On the group chat Instagram, if you need any help, just DM and we'll get you set up.
I will say the group in the Discord, at least, obviously I don't know all our listeners, but at least the Discord listeners, there's definitely like a genuine curiosity about everything.
Yeah.
And I will say in the Discord, no one's judgmental. No one's attacking each other. People are just kind of sharing opinions and discussing in a civil, obedient way.
Yeah, which is pretty cool because even though like we do talk about politics, but I don't know why, like we don't have, you know, because politics would be like the number one thing that people would argue about. And even though we talk about it, I don't know why it doesn't spark that type of, maybe it's because the way we make fun of each other, but then we're still friends. I don't know, but there's a real
people come in with kind of civil discourse. And I know everyone doesn't agree with each other. They all have, I mean, there's a lot of people in the Discord. Like I'm sure a lot of people have very differing opinions on different views on the world, but it comes across in the Discord in a very appropriate way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty proud of the Kathy culture, you know? Pretty cool thing. Okay, news. You ready for news?
Let's do it.
Okay, great news for people like me. When it comes to AI, so I don't need to preface AI and the mystery of what it will become and what it will displace and what jobs it'll take and what skills it'll take. We all know the mystery. Nobody knows, but everyone's sort of giving their theories. The reason why I say great news for me is because I am terrible at math. And when I think back to high school, the stupid shit that I learned annoys me, and because I don't remember any of it. And, you know, like high school algebra is like never use it once, right? And I'm sure that for certain professions and career choices, there is some reason for it. But Peter Thiel is saying that math and sort of math expertise is going to be one of the first and easiest things that AI will just obliterate. Like it's just going to be able to do any math problem instantly, and therefore all of that skill set that people have been building will be pointless.
Yeah, so I think what he's referencing is that emotional and verbal intelligence is going to be a much better skill to have than being a math nerd.
Yeah.
But I will counter, because he's obviously a genius, so it doesn't apply to him, because he knows that he can do the math and he can do the verbal and he can do the emotional.
Right.
The thing that math does, and calculus and all those like subjects in high school, they're not applicable to the real world. Like I've never used calculus in my real life, work life, but it does get you to elevated thinking about how to solve problems.
Right.
So it just gets you smarter. Not that it's, 1-to-1 where like, oh yeah, I know calculus, so therefore I can go to this company and apply calculus and be successful. That's not what it does. But what it does is help you critically think.
Right.
And I think that's the like kind of big kind of gap where I agree. AI is going to solve math. Like you're not going to have to know any of these equations or anything, but you also won't learn to critically think, even though it's not directly applicable to your life.
Right.
Because I have a strong conviction that, because I did like all the advanced math classes in high school.
Yeah.
And while they weren't applicable to anything I did in my professional life directly, it definitely helped me like think better.
Right. I agree. My hope is that maybe we could replace, because it's funny, I do think you're right. And I think that, like, it's kind of what I say about reading. Like, it's not like I'm remembering every single word that I read or that whatever. I do think reading is obviously really beneficial, but one of the unspoken about benefits of reading is it forces you to focus on something for an hour that may not be the most exciting. It's not TikTok.
Right.
And so I feel that when I'm reading a lot, I'm just more calm and focused in general than when I'm, let's say, like on social media a lot. But my point is, it's really interesting that we teach people how to critically think about that stuff, but people are really dumb. And I don't mean that mean, but like when it comes to how to critically think about things like money, or how to critically think about even like conflict resolution, or how to critically think about, these different things that I think are so important in day to day. And it's funny, you can learn all the calculus in the world and still not understand compound interest, or still not understand basic financial thinking that could really benefit your life. So I just hope that AI takes that bullshit off of our plate and allows us to learn how to critically think about more like human everyday things.
But there's also a massive opportunity for young people, because Peter Thiel is a pretty clear thinker of where the world's going. Yeah. He's clearly made several bets and career moves that have proven so. Yeah. So he's saying verbal and emotional intelligence are the most important going forward.
Right.
That should be a good cue to all young people. Get off your phone, go talk to people, understand how to interact, how to like understand someone's emotional cues and what to do in response to it, because that clearly is where the world's heading. Yeah. And if everything is solved from like a mathematical kind of technical standpoint with AI, that is the last skill left that humans have.
Yeah, which is funny because I feel like we're in a time where everyone's like, I don't know, it feels we're really low on. Even let me tell you a story. A friend of mine who obviously I won't disclose, told me a story, not a funny story, a story the other day where they were having like an anxiety attack.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did was they asked ChatGPT how to, pull out of it, but they had it speak to them and they just listened to it as if it was a friend. They told ChatGPT their name and ChatGPT was saying their name and this is what you do and these are the steps. And I think this is actually bad news. I don't think this is good.
How old is this person?
Late 20s.
Okay.
And they said that it actually helped because there was someone talking to them and using their name. And it's just like, I don't know. That's really interesting to me because, it's a cool case, use case for ChatGPT, but like, I don't know. That just feels like you could have called a friend and had some real empathy and love and care, as opposed to it's kind of like watching porn, or whatever, or scrolling on social media. Like you're able to get by with the fake one, which stopped you from getting the real one.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, we've all been through very stressful things in our life.
Yeah.
And I've done both. I've called a friend, right, and I've just sat by myself and like deep breaths, think, like, let's calm down. And they both worked.
Right. But I'm talking about a third.
Yeah, that's my point.
Right. Because when you sit with yourself, what you actually do is you learn that you can self-soothe, and so you build like a confidence and a knowledge of yourself that, hey, I might, feel like I'm hyperventilating. I know how to get through that alone. Here's where I have to call a friend. But the third option is a robot companion.
I don't think it's good.
It doesn't seem good, but it seems like the future. Like it does seem like
did your whatever late 20s person that you're talking about referencing feel like, oh man, I got the hack. Like this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, they felt great about it.
What's that?
They felt great about it. They said, oh, I did the coolest thing. You won't believe it. I have this was happening. I thought about calling a friend, but instead I did this. I turned on the voice thing. I didn't look at it. I just let it talk to me and it worked. And I think that's like saying, hey, I wanted to go on a date. I was going to go out to the bar. Instead, I put on Pornhub and it worked. I went to sleep.
Yeah, that's tough.
I think it's just, a one-off case. Okay. But I think that, look, the same way I think that there's a lot of arguments that social media is a net negative. I'm not saying it is. I think it's really tough to decide, but it has definitely increased like depression and people staying at home and sort of judging and living vicariously through other people's lives and all of these negative things. I just think that that's, I don't know. It just feels like a real net negative if you replace calling a human in a time of the most need for when connection is so important. And you have Scarlett Johansson's fake voice telling you to calm down.
It's compounded, right? Because of lockdowns, work from home, everyone was home. And then this new technology comes. So they feel even more emboldened not to talk to anyone.
Right. And it almost seems like advantageous, or it seems, it seems like you're hacking. Like, yeah, I work from home and we'll talk about it later, but I'm secretly on a vacation. I'm on my laptop. I do everything from my phone. I don't even need therapy. I just have ChatGPT talk to me when I'm having a panic attack. Like you think you're like savvy, but I think you don't really realize what you're, the same way once again, whole other can of worms. But I think that there's an argument that working from home is cool in theory, but I think a very few amount of people can actually do it in a healthy way. I think a lot of people would benefit from being forced to shower and take off the sweatpants and go to the office and interact with colleagues. But it feels like you're hacking the system,
I also have another hot take.
Yeah. Text
messaging is terrible for people.
Yeah. I don't I don't have a problem with that take. As opposed to calling, you're saying?
Yeah. So like in the last kind of handful of months, I've had long conversations with some of my best friends on the phone.
Yeah. It's really
that
nice.
Is not even possible in text. It just becomes kind of glib and like you're making fun. You're like you're not actually getting a connection, but you're faking it.
Right.
In the sense that you think you're in touch with this person because you text all day.
Right.
But if you actually have like an hour conversation with someone on the phone, it's a very different connection.
Right. I agree completely. I think you're totally right. But I think, to be honest, I think you're right. But I think that that's like, if we were to go through the list of most harmful to least, that's far down the list of how most young people are interacting.
Like, I don't think any 25-year-old is on the phone for an hour with a friend.
I don't think of any 25-year-olds I know. No. One of our employees the other day, this I don't mind giving a little, I'm not going to tell their name, but a little bit of a clue. One of our employees who's mid-20s said that she's home alone so long on a daily basis, working from home and things, that sometimes she talks out loud to make sure her voice still works.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she's 25?
Yeah.
Why doesn't she just go out and hang out with friends?
Well, she's talking mainly about like during the workday, like when she's at home working.
But does she have an option to come to your office or no?
Yeah. And nobody's working for, from 9 to 5 straight. Like, you're right. You should make a phone call to your friend, go to the gym, start your work, go get lunch, come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's a healthy work from home day. But they're saying that a regular occurrence is that they have to say, hello, yeah, how are you? Just to prove that they can still communicate.
I make it a point to call people either at night after kids go to sleep or early in the morning before the workday starts.
Yep.
Just to have that connection with people.
Yeah. Yeah, I notice it. I'm not the greatest at it, but I do notice it with my parents a lot. You know, like I make it a point to at least text my mom every day, but a lot of times a phone call, it's just different, especially with your parents, you know, especially I see them so rarely, they're so far away. I really notice the difference.
Yeah. I mean, even, our parents are probably similar age. There's a text protocol that they don't, like my mom on phone and in person is very different than what she is on text.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're not getting the connection on text, but if I call her, I have a great connection on phone.
Yeah. I think that there's probably like once again, we could put this out as a more detailed part of the group chat protocol, but there's probably a healthy, purpose, amount of time you should hang out in person and what the purpose of that is, amount of time you should talk on the phone, and then what is the purpose of texts. Texts are valuable for little things. Hey, are you there yet? Hey, what time tonight? Hey, blah, 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 but not for trying to maintain long-term connections.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that text is great for memes and bullshit and just like fun. Group chats and like, here's this funny meme, here's this funny sports story, here's this funny whatever. But if you actually want to maintain a connection, you either have to meet in person or call.
I agree. I totally agree. Well, seems like we're barreling down the other path.
I mean, this is our connection, right? We talk, hours a week on a podcast.
Right. I mean, I have told multiple people, this is very true, that one of the main reasons, to be honest, why I'm happy we still do group chat is because I know that if we didn't, we would just probably rarely see each other. That's just, we're all busy. You guys have families. And so I really do like, especially on Sundays when I come in there, usually when I drive home, like I feel really happy that I just saw my buds and hung out for an hour. And so luckily we have like a forced thing where we have to do it because, it's really tough without it. And we're fortunate.
It's important. It's great for your mental health. And, all the things that all three of us go through on a daily life. This is, selfishly, it's like kind of therapy for all of us.
Right. It is. It's really great. So look, I don't know. Don't talk to ChatGPT. Call your friends.
Go meet them.
Yeah.
Let's start at there. Least just fucking calling is a secondary. Go meet them. Go meet your friends.
Okay. Here's maybe some inspiration for where you can go meet your friends. We have some examples or a list of people are looking into, or maybe they're not even doing that. Maybe this is more a little cheat code. I don't know that a lot of people are taking advantage of it. A little thing called an inflation vacation. And what that means is with inflation, running rampant and, kind of the inflation's just wild all over the world. But of course, as you would expect, there are certain countries where the US dollar goes the furthest at the moment. So there is this little, speaking of hacks, there is a little hack here where you can go and get literally the most bang for your buck. And maybe that's a good excuse to get out and see those friends you've been texting too much. But what are the places, Anand?
Yeah, so one of the places is Japan.
Nice.
The dollar's strong against the Japanese yen. Hungary, which is Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
You can get a nice hotel, food, not that hard. Argentina.
Nice.
I think a lot of people would love to go to Argentina.
Yeah.
And those seem like the three hot spots where the dollar's carrying you much farther. I would suspect Thailand too.
Yeah.
I know it's not in the article, but I went in 22 December and the pricing was so cheap.
Really?
We went there for a wedding, our friend Kern's wedding. You know Kern.
Yeah.
And there was this like Michelin star restaurant that Amanda Googled and was like, we should go there.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. We go to the hotel. It's a nice hotel and say, hey, we need a car for two of us. We're going to the city and we want to go to this restaurant. This is in 22, so I'm sure it's cheaper now.
Yeah.
The car was with us. It was a Sprinter van for 4 hours. $50 for the van.
Damn.
Then the restaurant, we had, I think we had some sake. We ate like a lot of food.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a super fancy place, like to be fair. Like it was Michelin star, but it was like kind of a casual spot.
Right.
$60.
Wow. How many people?
Just two of us.
Yeah. Yeah, there is really also Japan. I mean, so many people, I've never been to Japan, but so many people love Japan. And I don't know. I mean, I just think it's funny. Like there is, of course, the bad side of the story, which is how much things are inflated here. But there are those opportunities. Like you said, I mean, those type of prices, if you strategically planned a vacation to one of these places, you could live like a king.
I've told a lot of the younger employees at Ghost, he just walked in and
he made it. What time is it?
He made it.
Wow. Good job.
Yeah. He said 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've told, we're just talking about inflation and where the dollar carries you the strongest.
The countries.
So countries were like Japan, Hungary, Argentina. And I was saying when I went to Thailand in 22, how cheap everything was. I had a 4-hour Sprinter van for $50.
Yeah.
You can't get, what's that in America? 2,000?
Yeah, more. It'd be a 6-hour minimum too.
Yep.
And my point is I was telling a lot of the Ghost employees that are younger, especially Javier and the boys.
Yeah.
It sucks. Thailand's far. You're going to have to do a connection. But once you get there, the boys are wilding.
Yeah.
Because the dollars.
We've seen
Boys,
Hangover.
meet the lady
We've all
boys.
seen Hangover.
The boys,
Hey,
will have
boys,
a blast if they
let me
got to town.
introduce
They just
the
have to make
boys.
it there.
To the lady boys.
That also is possible too.
Right. Probably
Whatever
great
your
prices.
dreams.
But
and
you went
desires
to
are.
Thailand as a younger person.
Yeah.
You lived great.
I mean, as a younger person in my 20s and 30s, I did a lot of Southeast Asia, a lot of South America, because it was the ARB. It was so much cheaper. Like going to,
You just have to bear the flight. Because
yeah, whatever.
I mean, when you're 27, you shouldn't care about flying economy.
I don't
to
even
Thailand.
remember, like,
Right.
you know, you were so tired, you just slept and woke up in another
Yeah.
country. And the thing that I appreciated about it, and because I vividly remember this, like the first time in my life when I bought my first table,
Right.
you know, like late 20s, whatever it was. And I put my credit card down and then I was like, okay, here we go. And I did it for like, you know, a couple months buying tables. And
Here in America?
in America, like, you know, I'd
Right.
be in LA, I'd buy New York, I bought a table, like whatever, you know, just like going out, Vegas, whatever.
But it's probably 80% cheaper than today.
Well, yeah, but forget that. What I remember a friend of mine asking me at the end of the night in like Vegas, how much was that? And I was like, at that time, $1,500.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, you could have gone to Paris. And I was like, fuck, I could have gone to Paris. And I had this like eye-opening thing. I was like, I'm never doing this ever again. I'd rather travel because, by the way, spending at that time $800 to go to Europe, or I remember going to, I think my flight to Argentina was like $600.
So my senior year of college, there was this thing called STA, Student Travel
Association.
Yeah, where you get like
Yeah.
discounted tickets
Yeah.
if you're like a university student. Me and 14 friends went to London and we spent $400 round trip.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Those flights don't exist today.
They
but-
don't exist today.
But you could go for under 1,000.
Yeah.
You go in the right time. You can find like, you know, if you want to do the whole quiet vacation thing.
Right. God,
Like,
maybe we shouldn't be giving out this information. We're going to lose some employees.
Well, it's funny. It's so like I obviously do a lot of Zoom calls and, you know, with all kinds of companies all over the world. The positioning of their laptop tells me if they're quiet vacationing or not.
Well, do they do blurred background?
No. That's not the problem.
Is it
It's
just
when
like a
the
blank
angle
wall?
is high. When the angle is high.
Shooting up? Oh, so you can't
When
see
they only
what's
see,
directly
you know, like the
behind
P.
them.
Diddy
Yeah.
ceiling. Remember
Yeah.
when everyone's like, oh, we know where you are, Diddy,
Yeah.
when he did
Yeah.
his video?
Yeah.
If the angle is high and the background only shows the roof, they're on vacation.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Like one time, I remember vividly last summer, I was talking to someone, European guy. I go, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm just working. I'm like, you're in Mykonos, aren't you? I could recognize that style of architecture. He's like, yeah, I am in Mykonos.
You know what's funny is that it's kind of switched. I remember when Mr. Exits was on in 21,
Yeah.
it was a flex to show the aquatic background
Yeah.
because it was boom time,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Everyone was rich. Everyone was making money. Now
Right.
people are trying to hide where they are, even though they may still have money.
Yeah. It's
But
embarrassing.
in 21, they were like, you know, a lot of sunscreen,
Right. Right.
aquatic background. You're on a boat. You're, you know, overlooking some sort of ocean,
Yeah.
and people kind of wanted to flex. And I feel like it's switched because I don't know, things we talked about last episode and the episode before when I shared that Chanel story, how there's discounts. Then we saw something on Twitter that's not on the news jacket, but the Ritz Baccarat, which is one of the premier hotels in California, 70% occupancy, and they're at risk of defaulting on their loan.
But 70% for a hotel doesn't work, right? I don't know anything.
You have to be over 90.
Over 90. And by the way, I went and looked at the rates for the long weekend. It was like $1,200.
I asked a friend in real estate, like he's just like, you can't break the price.
Because then the
never be able
lender
to build it back. No, you'll never be able to get the consumer to come back to whatever the $1,200 night.
So you just go bankrupt instead?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like at what point, like at some point you have to break the price.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. The reason why it's 70%, because there's no more money. We're broke.
I think everyone's broke.
Everyone's broke. We can't do 12. You need to be 350.
I think it's way worse. I mean, I feel like I've said this 7 times, but I just think it's way worse than what I think it's all being. I think there is a memo out that says, do not make it look bad. If you do, Trump's coming. That's what I think.
So I have a friend that is at one of the more expensive private schools in LA, younger kids. And he said the discussion of Europe travel is like 90% off year over year. Like last year, everyone was like, hey, we're taking the boys to
Mykonos, whatever.
London, whatever, and like get a culture, Athens, get a cultural experience.
Cultural experience. You want Athens? We'll go take you to a Greek restaurant.
Yeah, that's what we're doing this year.
Yeah. Go to Larchmont and go to that Greek restaurant. You get a whole full Athens experience.
But anecdotally, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I don't see families. And this is an expensive private school. It's not cheap.
Right.
And he's just like, I don't see families planning vacations for the summer the way they were a year ago.
Yeah.
Look, American Airlines came out with their earnings and they cut its revenue, cut its profit, stock got crushed, and they're slashing capacity growth in the second half of the year. And to me, that is the ultimate sign that discretionary income, because travel is like, it's a luxury. Travel is a complete luxury. You do not need to travel unless you go for work or you have to see a family member for an emergency or something like that. So for the most part, it is when you have a little extra couple bucks, you go travel.
Yeah.
And you have to plan in advance, right? So if families are deciding not to go this summer with their kids, that means they decided 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's like a bit of a mood indicator.
Damn, stock was down 13% today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American Airlines.
Like, is your mood that like things are good and we can relax, or is the mood like
consumer exactly. The number one indicator is consumer confidence. And when you poll Americans right now, we have no confidence. Zero. And in Canada, Canada's a disaster, by the way. Everything what's happening in Canada from an economic standpoint, complete disaster. Australia has some of the lowest consumer confidence it's ever had. So you start looking all over the world, like Japan is a disaster.
Yeah.
Right? At least they're getting a bit of a tourism
They
boost.
just tourism.
Yeah, right. And so it's a really interesting dynamic because the economic data that we're being fed by Fauci is all.
He's not Fauci.
Yeah, they put him in charge of the treasury.
Yeah,
actually.
he's the head of the economic
You did
council.
so well. You're so good at hiding emails.
Powell's using the data the federal government is giving. I cannot blame him when he gets the unemployment data and they just take off a couple zeros and make it look like it's great.
Right.
It's all bullshit.
You book a flight once a week
Yeah.
for work. Have prices come down or no?
Yeah, they have. Definitely. They're cheaper. Put it like this. Like I book a lot of last minute flights. Like I need to go to San Francisco or I need to go to like, somewhere local, not too far. And those are usually pretty insanely expensive or they're sold out. You cannot get a seat. I mean, the last couple flights I've flown, like, where did I
went
just
Saturday morning to San Francisco.
Yeah, that flight was half empty.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't think
the other thing that I'm also noticing is like just in anecdotally around here in this neck of the woods of our office, call it West Hollywood area. Every night when I go to sleep, I go on Zillow, Trulia, just to look at homes. It's just, I just do it every night. It's just fun to look at. And there's a home like 6 blocks from us that was listed for $3.3 million a few weeks ago. It's already down to 2.9.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big cut, like in weeks. It's not months, weeks.
That's what's crazy. It's like that's a whole nother thing is that the home buying confidence or atmosphere is really bad.
And I think specifically for Los Angeles, specifically for, I would say, neighborhoods like West Hollywood, Santa Monica, Brentwood, the south side of the valley, Sherman Oaks, Studio City, and probably Culver City and a little bit of like Cheviot Hills, like, just those pockets of LA, Hancock Park. So many people work in the entertainment industry. And the entertainment industry has not bounced back post-strike yet. It's not at full capacity. Nowhere near.
And it won't, because I think the numbers were during COVID, 600 titles a year on Netflix is down to 200.
And they're the biggest, right? And then you saw...
So just think about the trickle-down effect of that. 600 to 200 shows being filmed. What production, lighting, writers, actors, directors.
And think about like stocking up on, that like people stocked up on inventory, like, oh, we're a production company. We need more cameras. We need more lights. We need more, like anytime there's a cut that severe, the like domino effect is pretty brutal.
And you think about what's working. What was number one on Netflix for a week? The Tom Brady roast.
Well, forget that. I think the bigger challenge.
Comedy's back.
Comedy is back.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers
kill drama.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, the MadMAX Furioso movie. That thing did like,
and Garfield. It's the worst Memorial Day weekend box office in history.
Was the lowest grossing number one film at Memorial Day box office since 1995's Casper.
Yeah, like $31 million, right?
Yeah, 35. And
you would think that's a good bet, like a MadMAX, like you would think if you're placing safe bets, that's not an experimental thing.
Where there's a lot of good deals right now?
Huh.
Postmates. A lot of good deals.
Really?
They have, when you log on, they have all these coupons and then you go start clicking on it. Like if you spend, if you're a single person to spend $50 is insane. But if you're like ordering for 2 or 3 or 4, dude, like I ordered someone the other day, 50% off, 50% off.
Wow. I mean, that's also a huge sign. Target's down.
Target
Huge
is
sign.
dropping prices on 5,000 household essential items. So you should see the impacts of inflation lowering pretty fucking soon.
You have to.
Yeah, I mean,
prices are dropping. I see it. There's deals. Like, what I didn't see a lot 2 years ago? Happy hours. Everyone pulled their happy hours. Now, when I walk the streets, if it's San Francisco, LA, New York, here's our, come on in, we have happy hour.
Right.
Like it's kind of like, it literally went away during peak COVID, where peak boom after COVID, where I remember walking in with some coworkers like, oh, you have a happy hour menu. Like, happy hour? We're just going to charge you full ticket.
It's going to charge you double.
This is booming. Yeah. But the same restaurants now are advertising on the sidewalk, happy hour.
Yeah. I think there's so many indicators. And I think
it's pretty obvious that it's just absent the labor market. The labor market's still tight, which is the only reason people are still spending.
But isn't unemployment? Wasn't there some number about unemployment that wasn't great?
Yeah. So the number of listed job openings has plummeted. Like it was down 10%, I think, month over month on Indeed. And so that's also not white collar jobs. That's, more working class jobs. I
just don't even trust unemployment numbers.
Yeah. The big news that just happened is Salesforce just came out and just got shellacked and said
17%
weak client spending. It's literally getting destroyed, and mainly because they're forecasting lower revenue. They missed on everything, and they're an example of what the businesses are spending money on, and that's been quite strong to this date. It seems like the only thing that's businesses are buying or is whatever bullshit Nvidia is selling.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what the earnings would show. It's just, yeah. Well, look, I mean, the good news is like this does feel like the party finally coming to an end. I mean, it's going to unfortunately be pain, but
yeah,
you can get those rates down. I mean, the crazy thing is the market is still cranking.
The market's cranking, and I think
it's like 4 companies still.
I know.
Most stocks are nowhere near. Lululemon just hit a 52-week low. It's down 40% for the year. Lululemon.
My prediction is rates are going to have to cut because I think the consumer has fallen off a cliff, and it's just tailing when we see that data reflect.
They even said 33% of Americans are near or delinquent on credit cards. On their
it's
limits.
the highest of all time.
Yeah.
Credit card debt.
The problem that people, I think the reason why we're surviving as an economy is we also just hit an all-time high in the stock market as well.
So the 401ks are up, so people feel like they're spending.
Yeah, there are people that are still spending.
And not to sound morbid, but the boomers are trickling off.
Yeah.
So there's inheritance coming.
And I saw grandma and grandpa live when I had to go to Mexico for a night last week for a work trip. And we're sitting in the customs line. I saw grandma and grandpa taking the whole family of 8.
Yeah.
They were all having t-shirts on, the same t-shirt. Like
that family
like a family
is
team.
we were at like an all-inclusive resort. So like
that's the only hope where
grandma, the whole
grandma
and grandpa are holding down the whole economy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned this. I was thinking about through the lens of Costco. Have I said this here?
No, it's on fire.
But here's the thing. I was trying to think of like Costco continues to do extremely well, right? They actually just reported earnings. I didn't see what happened.
It was good.
It was good. I look at our household, toilet paper, paper towels, macadamia nuts, none of which we have purchased. Haley's parents buy it for us. Mom will go to Costco. She'll buy us those little guacamole things for the kids' lunches.
The boomers.
It's
the
like grandma.
Boomers.
Boomers are holding it all up.
Yeah. Here's the real problem. So the boomers who are very fiscally savvy in terms of that they saved money.
Yeah.
They're retiring. They're able to go to Hawaii. They're able to go to, Mexico once a year. They're transferring money to a generation that wants to go to Erewhon and spend 10x.
Right. They're going to blow it. We talked about it. We talked about it. The boomers saved it. The millennials, is millennials next?
Yep.
Yeah,
well, the boomers, Gen X.
Is Gen X
this is what I would say.
Because we're technically...
I would say Gen X is putting it in. Well, let's just say boomers saved it properly. Hard work, savings, fucking grind it out like 4% interest a year. Just made it the hard way. The millennials will skip one, are going to spend it at Erewhon. And then Gen Z's like YOLOing it into GameStop.
Yeah.
So it's all done in about 25 years.
Unless AI has to work.
Yeah.
AI just has to make us more money somehow. I don't know how, but it just has to make us more money.
But these people aren't saving.
You can't right now. That's the problem.
No, but if a boomer, that's the point. Like the boomer's gonna pass and transfer, whether it's 500K, $1 million, 2 million, that thing's gone in 5 years.
It's like a lottery winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to get like 70 million lottery winners in fucking 20-year period.
You are, because 2 million out of nowhere is... Woo.
That couple's going to go... do Harry Potter and Orlando.
Yeah, get the guide.
Yeah, American Airlines will be fine.
What we should do is just like go long guides because Disneyland's going to explode.
Right. Yeah,
I don't think millennials can stop themselves from spending on experiences.
No, because I also think the problem is we've now had like at least a good 5 years, a little more, but like let's just say 5 years of like everyone's an investment expert. Everyone's rich on social media. Everyone's thinks they're the next roaring kitty, but everyone's broke. So you hand them $2 million, it's gone.
Think about the $2 million. What they're going to do is two stupid things. They're going to spend $1 million on experiences, taking their families on vacations all around the country or wherever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they're going to think they're smarter than the market and do options. and lose that million.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I saw it. I saw a TikTok clip. God, I don't know if I'm going to get this wrong. I saw a clip that went viral kind of where like it was a couple that like took out a loan to go on a first class trip. Like they wanted to fly first class. And yes, and people were cheering them on like, you know what? Yeah, like that is how you should spend your money. That is, you deserve it. And it was them like with the champagne in first class. And it was just like, you know what? We're going balls to the wall. We deserve this. And I think that is the problem.
Well, here's to be fair.
Yeah.
If I am, you know, sitting at home, you know, middle class person, and I'm debating whether I should take that first class flight, save some money, I want to go on a trip. And then I pop open Wall Street Journal or go on X and you read that like, every billionaire in real estate is defaulting on their loans. And the only people that are going to get fucked is some regional bank. Mm-hmm. Nothing's going to happen to this billionaire.
Yep.
And I think that creates like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just go to. What are they going to do?
Right.
Meaning
Yeah,
that they
default
got
on
bailed
my
out.
loan too.
Yeah, I'll default on my loan too.
But the billionaire gets bailed out.
Too big to fail. So it's different, right? Like when you can topple the house, you know,
yeah, it's like the famous saying
on Visa is not
they're coming after you. The bank is going to fucking destroy your life for the 1,500, but they will let the billionaire slide.
No, the famous saying is you owe $1 million to the bank. It's your problem. You owe $1 billion to the bank. It's the bank's problem.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like a famous, like kind of,
there's like a Jeff
adage.
Daniels movie that I started, or TV show I started trying to watch on the plane the other day. It was so depressing. I turned it off. It's basically a guy, I think he was like a real estate tycoon. And like the opening is his like 70th or 60th birthday where he's raging. And then 5 minutes later, he's in a bank meeting where the bank is basically trying to foreclose on him and like fuck him. And then he tries to fuck. I was just like, this is too much. This is too real of probably what's happening. Yeah. Like, I can't take this right now. Like, this is
not
too scary.
Yeah. It's not a good plane movie.
Yeah,
Get back to The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Where's Kevin Hart at?
Right. Yeah.
But like,
it's just,
I think
but the thing is, hand those people actually $2 million. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the, you know, when you hand with that level of expectation and that you deserve it and that you should have these nice vacations and these things, a lot of people are going to spend a lot of money. Great for the economy.
I mean, it's more of a reason to probably ban TikTok. It's causing us to go into debt.
Right.
Isn't the Maui Four Seasons in default too?
Yeah. Toast.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on loan watch.
It's not Michael Dell, right?
Yeah.
He's rich. He's just playing games.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know who's not defaulting anytime soon? Olipop.
Yeah.
So I've never drank Olipop. You guys drink Olipop at the office? Seems like you would.
I've
Seems like
never
a tech
had it.
startup beverage.
I've seen something like that. Poppy, I think it's called. I've seen it in our fridge.
Yeah. So is Olipop and Poppy very similar, right? Like a sugar-free soda alternative, right?
I think it's low sugar. I don't think it's sugar-free.
Okay. So either way, there's this new trend of these healthier soda options. And I do see a lot of young people drinking them. Super trendy and cool. But Olipop is set to hit 500 million in sales this year. So
in 2019, it did less than $1 million. How unbelievable is that? Insanity. So it's a prebiotic and fiber to boost gut health. It's deemed a healthy soda.
It's similar to a Mare Root story.
Yeah. Well, the more interesting thing is, okay, Mary Ruth is giving you supplements, right? So that's been around. It's and you know, if you found niche topics to give supplements to, makes sense. Soda's a very interesting thing. I used to be addicted. 6 wild cherry Pepsis a day till about 18.
Right.
Then I cold turkey stopped.
Right.
And
insane.
It's insane that I would drink 6 wild cherry Pepsis a day.
Yeah.
6.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
6 is a lot.
Yeah. Like, how am I standing here?
It's 1,200 calories
All that
just
running,
on
bro.
soda.
That
You're
running
like
saved
300
you. You'd be
grams of
just
sugar.
240.
fat.
Yeah,
You'd be
yeah.
on Ozempic right now if you didn't love running.
And soda is an interesting thing. Like, I'm actually quite shocked how many young people just don't drink more water over, like, I'm sure there's some gut health benefits to Olipop. I don't doubt it, but you want it because it's a little sweet and it's carbonated. And I personally love sparkling water, but at the end of the day, I just love just drinking cold water. Like, I can't get myself to drink a lot of the alternative beverages that are replacing things like Coca-Cola. Like, if I'm gonna have a Coke, I'm just gonna go have a Coke.
Right.
I'm surprised, specifically in the thing that mimics soda, that you're having this kind of success. I kind of see, like, if you're getting an iced tea, a lemonade, it's like quenches a different level of thirst.
Yeah.
Or
I think
craving.
we're old though. I just feel like these kids, like, you guys were like in college or whatever, like still drinking soda, or all through high school. I feel like a lot of these it's mostly young people I see drinking these things. And I feel like they've been drinking like, what's that other one that's really popular that everyone has? Like the sugar-free carbonated.
LaCroix.
No, that's just, but that's just
like,
sparkling water.
Right. Or like, but it's slightly flavored.
Yeah.
Or like sparkling water, or like, I just feel like it's a new, I don't know. It feels to me almost like what we were talking about healthcare, in the sense of like, there's a new like awareness that like, hey, a carbonated, lightly flavored thing is totally fine. Whereas to us, if we're going soda, we're going all in Coca-Cola, whatever. I don't know. I see a lot of young people that it's like totally normal. They have their Poppy or their Olipop or their LaCroix, and they're fine with that like middle ground. I'm a water or Coke guy.
I wonder if it's had an effect on Celsius.
Celsius got creamed because someone drank 2 a day and got like liver disease and died.
I stopped years ago.
You're the one pushing it.
I know.
Only 2?
I think Celsius is toast.
I stopped
2 a day?
Right after COVID. I just was like, this probably isn't smart.
2 a day will kill you. I thought Celsius was like the healthy Red Bull alternative.
I mean, it's all relative, right? Like, it's healthier to having 2 Red Bulls a day, which can't be good either.
Right, that'll kill you at once.
So are people in your office drinking Olipop, Trauma?
Yeah, a lot. Everybody in my office, which is a lot of young women, have, like women in their 20s, have either one of these, like the hot, what's
jug.
The
Stanley?
Jug? The Stanley.
I'm sticking to plastics.
Right. You might as well.
It's a big microplastic guy.
You might as well. They either have the Stanley or they have an Olipop or a Poppy. Wow. Every person.
Interesting.
I'm a, paper cup water guy.
Yeah, you're old school. And then Anand's just sucking down plastic.
I want to be a water bottle guy. It's just a lot of work.
A lot of work. I just got used to it.
You got to carry that fucking thing everywhere. I mean, the thing you carry around, but it's like 17 pounds.
But he doesn't leave his place.
Yeah, I take it to the gym. I bring it there,
Gym and
I'm sure when he goes in his car.
I take it to the gym. I take it to you. I don't take it in the car. Like if I go to I don't know, like I'm going to the driving range
dinner.
Or I'm going
If you're
dinner.
going to sushi, are you bringing your big
Hell
jug?
No. I take it where like there, I know I'm going to be sitting for an hour.
And water will be provided.
I know I'll have nice cold water. It's great. But I don't take it everywhere. Okay, let's see what else we got. Uniqlo. How about this? Maybe this is a sign of the times. Uniqlo has a bag. The quote unquote, people are calling it the Millennial Birkin. That's just blowing up. And it's taken over. How much is this thing? Affordable.
$19.95.
Right.
That just tells you where, it's funny how like fashion works, where it goes from like luxury this is what the trend is too. Oh, now everyone's about accessibility,
understated,
and quiet luxury. Yeah. No, you're all broke.
This thing's a fucking fanny pack. This thing is literally
a big ass fanny pack, crossbody in multiple colors. Right. It went viral on TikTok. It went viral because people need to spend money on something, and this shit is cheap.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, this is great. This is definitely looks like a recession bag.
Yeah.
Super
Get
plain.
yourself a recession bag.
Yeah, times are tough. Grab a fucking pink shoulder bag.
I will say in times of where we're seeing cracks, there's certain businesses that never will see a crack. So, for example, we were at UCLA last night. We spent the night there for Mav stuff. Mm-hmm. And midnight, things kind of finally calmed down. Walked in and out.
Yeah, but that's
absolutely slammed. There was like 100 cars in the drive-thru. There's probably 100 people.
That's a recession sign. You can't afford to go to fucking Avra, so you go to In-N-Out.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I don't think that's a good sign.
I could not believe how busy it was at midnight on what day was it? Tuesday night.
I've never not been to In-N-Out and not been busy, to be fair. Never.
Yeah,
it's always busy.
A couple times. But I think that would be the opposite to me, Anand. That would be who's just going to grab a burger. Yeah. Plus that place is just, I mean, look, to your point though, sorry, I forgot what you even said. You didn't say that was a sign there's no recession. You said it's recession proof. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Because look at all those new customers.
But it's also the price. It's not busy because it's not just good, it's also so cheap.
Right, but that's kind of part of the point. Like, if you had to bet on something that will not be impacted during COVID or during a recession, I think In-N-Out is a pretty good bet.
Yeah, because
they're also so limited still.
They kind of went on both sides. When things are going great, lower wage people can afford it.
Yeah.
When things are going bad,
all the rich people are there.
They're trading down.
It's like G-Wagons in line.
Yeah. I mean, I'm there twice a week.
It's so good.
There's one on the way home from the gym, and if there's no line, I stop.
We probably eat there once a week.
Yeah. It's worth it.
It's so good.
You know who else is recession proof? TJ Maxx, Ross. I would say probably the opposite. Probably recession anti-fragile. This is their time to shine. They must just be cranking.
Yeah, I think it always shocks people that don't shop those stores, the brands that are in those stores. And what happens during an environment like this, the quality of brands that show up at a TJ Maxx and a Ross and a Burlington just explode. So people can't imagine that there's designer sitting in those stores right now. And they are. Lots of designer goods in all of those stores.
How high end?
Like, call it,
obviously Nike and all that stuff's there.
Yeah, I'm saying like one step below.
Like, is Coach there?
Like you'll see Kate Spade, Michael Kors. Coach is a unique brand. They're very tight on distribution, but you could see stuff from like, call it the high end of Nordstrom, like contemporary designers. All of that product's in there. You'll see sprinkles of luxury goods. Like you may see a Valentino, you may see a, Saint Laurent. You'll see Theory and Vince and all those brands all the time there now, and it's a treasure hunt, right? That's why that's part of the reason why they're so successful. But if you actually do have money, what a great time to shop! Great time to shop. The deals are there, people.
I mean, you could go grab some like mid-level designer stuff, head to Tokyo.
Yeah,
and just have the vacation of a lifetime, get a Sprinter van.
If you were disciplined and you didn't spend money the last couple of years, you could do what everyone did in 21, 22 at half the price.
Right.
What about that person who sent the DM? Guy's up like 10x.
Oh yeah. He commented on YouTube. he bought Shark Ninja IPO when we talked about it. Bought Crocs when I talked about it. He's booming.
Bitcoin, Ethereum.
He's up like This guy is like Ken Griffin.
Portfolio. Yeah.
Ken Griffin. Let me tell you something now. Sell!
Sell it all. Go to TJ Maxx in Tokyo. That's the new
Thailand. That's the hack.
I think Tokyo is the hack because here's the thing.
Tokyo still, if you want to do it right, it's still expensive.
No, but do it right is like, just don't spend the money in the hotel. It's a waste to spend money.
Like the omakases, those are still expensive.
Sure, but like you could still go to Japan. Like going to Japan when the currency is depressed is the best time. Thailand's going to be cheap for another decade. 10 years from now, Thailand will still be cheap. It's not going to be expensive.
I also think even your vacation style is, I think our vacation style is a little bubbly. Like I think most people go to Tokyo to like wander around and shop at some markets and grab some sushi from the local spot and
the fish market.
You're like, oh, the omakase, the Four Seasons isn't really affected by inflation.
Exactly. Yeah. If I were traveling, I agree with the list. I would go to Tokyo. I would go to Argentina.
You go to Hungary?
Both places are incredible places to visit.
I've never been to Argentina.
Yeah, they're like Argentina. Like if you like to eat like meat, Argentina is booming in meat. There's just fucking meat everywhere. Yeah, and great. So it just like big steaks. Yeah. Just, it's just, I remember I was
Hungary.
like, man.
I think Hungary was on the list.
Yeah. Hungary was on the list.
Yeah, like those are interesting places where all three of those places could be substantially more expensive in 5 years.
Right.
Might as well go see it. I could bet anything Thailand will still be cheap.
That's fair.
I
mean, Bali's cheap too, but it's far to get to. That's the problem. The farther it is, the harder it is to get to a place, the cheaper it is.
It's hard to get to Saint-Tropez. Not cheap.
Not if you fly private.
Maldives. The farthest and the expensivest. Okay. Let's wrap it up with winners, losers, content. D, who's your biggest winner for the week?
My biggest winner is my guy, Ant-Man, who just balled out last night. He is the star player on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards just had a down 3-0 in Dallas, balls out. Michael Jordan-esque performance.
I didn't get to watch, so he was the star of the game?
Yeah, he scored.
Not Towns?
No. I think Towns hit the 3-pointers. Those were big. But the last shot that he hit after Luka hit a crazy 4-point play was a big shot. It's just so fun to watch him.
Yeah.
And
he's got that moxie for sure.
Yeah.
That he's not scared of the moment.
Like you always say, oh, basketball's over, tennis is over. The beauty of sports is there's always a next crop of talent that will reinvigorate the sport. Like golf, like I can't like my father was obsessed with golf. When we first started dating, we were still talking about Tiger Woods. He never really talked about anyone else.
Now he's Scotty Scheffler.
Literally was like, I've never seen anyone do this. Like this is like Tiger Woods again. Like,
I think him getting arrested and the charges dropped make him bigger than ever.
Yeah, and so I think,
for sure.
So I think sports has this incredible way of reinventing itself, and with basketball, dude, it's all these new young stars, and it's fun. It's fun again. It's not the same people winning all the time, and so I think it's great, and I think it's exciting, and it's going to make for a new generation for the sport of NBA and may bring a lot of new fans in because a lot of people hate the old guard.
Yeah.
They personally hate them. So it's a good way to move on.
Yeah, he's great. I don't really follow basketball, but that's a good sign actually. I don't,
he's on your radar.
Yeah, he's on my radar. He's really funny to me. He's great to watch. There was a dunk that he had in the game before last that was disgusting. So he's crossing over. Anand, what about you?
Our friend Kelly James, he had a big feature in the Wall Street Journal yesterday.
I saw he makes $10 million a year.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So Kelly James, who we're friendly with, he's makes original music, but he also does a ton of corporate events.
He's great live.
And I've seen him a million times. Nicest guy in the world. Ran into him in New York last summer. Very nice. And the birthday that they reference in the article is when I ran into him in New York, the founder of Silver Lake. So he's figured out this incredible niche. It's very tiring because I think he's on the road like 200 days a year. So he goes to pretty much every PGA event, every charity golf tournament, and he's the performer the day before the tournament starts.
Yeah.
So in the Masters, he's doing the Delta Airlines Masters party.
Right.
And he's figured out this. He's very talented, but he's also able to make old white people feel cool while being palatable to old white people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
And he's a really nice guy, and a huge Wall Street Journal article, and I'm happy for him. Went to USC, same age as me.
That's a good
He's
one.
like
He's
golf
a great
royalty.
guy. Yeah.
He's like golf royalty. Like every golfer posts him. They all know him. Tiger.
Is he friends with Scotty Scheffler?
Rory. Yeah, of course. He's friends with everyone.
Of course.
Michael Phelps, Steph Curry.
I like I'm a Scotty Scheffler guy.
He's a easy. He's a safe bet. You know, he's also like, you know, Christian guy.
Yeah.
Man of God, family guy.
Yeah.
Who's Scotty?
Yeah. Scotty. And he's just, you know, playing like crazy. Winner, I'm a little short on. I'll go my sports. Alexander Usyk beat Tyson Fury. I know you guys kind of know who Tyson Fury is.
I saw that clip on Twitter.
It was last weekend, but I was out. Yeah, it was big. He's also Ukrainian, so you know, good for the morale. But yeah, it looks like they have a rematch already trying to be scheduled in December. But it's a pretty big upset. Pretty cool.
And it was in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
And did Tyson Fury break his jaw? Did I see that right?
Get his jaw broken, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he? Is that what they said?
I feel like I mean, I didn't watch the fight, but I just saw like the Twitter thing.
That would make sense. So anyway, I'll go with sports too. D, what about loser?
My loser is the consumer confidence. Falling off a cliff.
Right.
I think we finally have reached a point where the consumer is going to slow their spend, or has already started to. I think we're only seeing it in things like hotels and airlines. We'll slowly start seeing it on other categories in the coming months. You know, there's a poll that said 69% of U.S. consumers currently believe it is likely that a recession will hit over the next 12 months. And so the problem is it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start reading headlines like that, then what do you do that day when you're about to go to dinner? You're like, I don't want to go spend that money, or I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to go here for the weekend. You just start cutting back because you think everyone else is cutting back. When everyone else is spending, you're spending. When everyone else is cutting back, you start cutting back. So some of the recessionary things, even though statistically it says the economy is strong, I think it'll just happen because of people's behavior. People are going to just shift the way they spend their money.
Right. Yep. Good point. Anand, who's your loser?
Air travel.
Yeah.
So turbulence is up pretty dramatically in the last week. There was a Singapore Airlines flight from Singapore to Dublin, and the plane dropped 6,000 feet. Someone died on the plane via injuries. I think
Heart attack.
Was it a heart attack?
Yeah.
And then dozens of people got taken to the hospital. Then Qatar Airways had a flight this week. 12 people got injured. And then
what's going on?
Our guy Buttigieg was on one of the talking head shows saying climate change has increased.
Off. Jesus. Buttigieg.
Has increased turbulence on flights. You fly more than anyone I know. Do you feel more turbulent?
Yeah. The other day I fly Burbank Airport a lot. And because it's within the valley, like I think it's generally a little windier.
Yeah.
And there's hot pockets, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't hot that day. We're about to land and it was like a really windy landing. And the guy just doesn't land, goes up, and he doesn't get on the mic, doesn't say anything.
Yeah, that's how
the entire
it's so
airplane,
scary.
like no one was breathing. I was looking around.
And was it just like a Southwest or something?
Southwest. It was Southwest.
With no explanation.
Like he's landing.
Crazy.
He's about to land and he just pulls up. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? So then we start circling. It's Burbank. It shouldn't take more than 2 minutes of circling.
Right.
10 minutes of circling. He's coming down again and we're wobbly.
No explanation.
No explanation.
That's absurd.
And on the way out, I go, what happened? And she just smiled, the lady.
Oh my God.
I was like, you got to tell people. Like, hey, if we're going, let us know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
brace for
crazy.
impact or one of those things.
Yeah. Like, hey, by the way, I was feeling it was a little touch and go on the way down.
Right.
There is a lot of turbulence right now.
So Buttigieg is right.
But it's climate change. Come on. Give us the real answer, you fucking lefties.
Did you see him on the EV charging? Did you see this interview on Sunday? Like MSNBC, it's like their Sunday morning, with the politicians. Buttigieg is on. The federal government designated, I think, $8 billion to EV chargers. And so he was like, the reporter was like, you've only done 8.
Yeah, 7 to 8.
7 to 8. And she's like, and he goes, well, it takes times. There's 50 states, there's municipalities, there's legal, there's this. And he goes,
starts rifling off facts about
you've done 8. She started laughing.
She laughed.
I saw that.
And then they showed how much Elon has done for the same amount. And it was just like staggering number of chargers.
Did you see Elon criticize the tariffs on the Chinese EV?
Oh, what did he say?
He's like, why are we doing this? I want competition.
Yeah.
He's a different beast.
Yeah. I'd be like, keep those tariffs good.
Right. Yeah. I'm so glad you finally flip-flopped on. You came over to the right side,
I came over to a side, not the right side.
This is where you should be.
But I have been on one of those planes where they do the landing.
The fake land.
The fake land.
Me too, but they explained it.
Mine was worse. This is like massive bubble talk. Me and Anthony were on a private plane going to Napa.
If that happened to me on a private plane, I would be petrified.
Yeah, I would just jump out.
We both looked at each other like, what is going on? And, this is, I think the pilot actually had just like a medical situation. He was hopefully equipped to fly the plane, but his hand was shaking like this. And it was going crazy and I was just like, are we serious? And it was foggy.
I would have a panic attack, I think.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like commercial planes can't crash. Like they just.
Yeah, they don't.
There's so many regulations. There's so many things. You never hear about it, but those private planes can. Yeah,
they could have got rid of me and Anthony. No one would have given a shit.
Those things can hit a mountain and no one really talks about it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What's your loser on it?
It was just air travel because of the turbulence. Right. Yeah.
Okay, mine is TV. So some data here on median viewer age of different networks. I'll just give you some of the higher ones. MSNBC, the median viewer is 70 years old.
Yeah.
So if the high end, median's, the middle. So if the high end, when people are checking out.
So the high end's 100.
Right. Are we saying the range is probably like 55 to
120?
85? Yeah, but I'm saying like people are living to 120. So how big's the range here?
It pretty much shows you that it's at the tail end.
Right. Fox News 69,
once the boomers,
CNN 67.
Once the boomers, move on and give their millions to the millennials, cable TV's over.
This is
because of sports.
It's just
cable
sports,
news,
but somebody will take up sports. This is crazy too. MTV, which is on the low end of this chart, is like 52. It's right above 50. So MTV is all ridiculousness. So you're telling me there's just
a bunch of fucking. Think about it. The person that grew up watching Rob is probably 50 years old now.
But 50,
I would say mid 40s, right?
They're 30. I meet them all the time. They're Josh's age. Josh, how old are you?
32.
Right.
I know, but
They were
you were like
18.
12 when you were watching them.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like if you were in your 20s.
But if you were 20,
and MTV,
we came out
the average age of
6.
Robin Big is like 20 years old.
We
isn't
premiered in 06, yeah, or maybe 05.
Okay.
So 20 years. So they were 20.
Let's say like,
right.
Okay, so you're talking 20 years ago, MTV's age was probably what, 25 years old?
Yeah,
The
I
median?
see where you go. That's fair. That's fair.
So they're now 50.
Also, the thing that you got to remember is we were actually kind of the last, like before us was like the Hills, Jersey Shore, all that shit. And so those people are 50. Yeah. So there's a bunch of 50-year-olds just laughing at ridiculousness.
What are they doing? Just taking an edible, getting some Cheetos, and watching
And
ridiculousness?
just yelling at their kids and saying, leave me alone. I'm watching Rob and the boys. It's crazy. And Catfish, I think, also still airs on there. So they're watching Catfish.
I know. I'll sometimes scroll by MTV and it is 17 hours of ridiculousness.
You know what's funny is when we went to Pebble Beach, a lot of the like waiters and things who were all like 40s and 50s were huge fans of Rob. And I'm like, man, how do these old guys know? It's because
now you know.
Yeah.
That's just watching it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
comfort
incredible.
TV for them. They know Rob. They've been seeing him for 20 years. They're just like, that's my guy.
Does he need security?
No.
That's good.
If your median viewer is 70, 69, 67, you got...
Don't say that. That's the private plane you flew on.
Well, hey, by that time, the planes will be flowing. But I mean, you do 50 years on television. But I'm talking about like mainstream news. Like,
Yeah.
you're done. What do we have, 10 more
crazy.
years?
Yeah, they got 10 years. They got a decade.
Just imagine in 10 years, all these people are going to croak, pass down millions of bucks, and everything we're going to learn is from social media.
Yeah.
It checks out because I've been to a few senior homes in the last few years, and it's just Fox News and MSNBC, depending on which side you lean.
Right. It's just, if you're them, if you're the CEO right now of whatever, you have to be scrambling. Like, what other data do you need? Your viewers are dying soon. Median age of 70 is insane.
It's crazy. Like, and the fact that these people, like, there's someone that's like the head of the MSNBC that gets paid like millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots of millions.
To do what?
And seeing the data.
The head of MSNBC needs to be conspiring with Pfizer to figure out how to keep these people alive.
Just keep them on life support at least, because you know they're just going to be playing the news.
I didn't know. I know you went to Kill Tony the other week.
Yeah.
They sold out Madison Square Garden
Twice, I think.
twice.
Kill Tony?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Did you just see him in like Comedy Store like 2 years ago?
Yeah, they were at the, yeah. But then, but now they did the Forum twice too.
Wow.
And
that's
what does that do with
YouTube.
boomers?
No, my point
'Cause
is
it's YouTube.
that's where people are watching stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the
try
kind
to
of
have
content they
something
want.
from like Comedy Central sell out
Anything.
Madison Square Garden. No chance. But YouTube, these guys
No
are...
one on NBC could sell anything. They couldn't sell out Peppermint Club.
No.
Unless it's the Sunday night
we
NFL.
could.
Sunday night. I'm saying
We
NBC.
have.
Unless it's, Chris Collinsworth just talking about football. That could probably sell at the Forum.
Yeah. Him and Al Michaels.
Just stand there and talk about football for 3 hours.
That'd work. Okay. Anyway, that's my loser. Content. D, who's your content? Or what's your content?
My content is I started watching the recommendation of Mikey, The Gilded Age.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good?
It's a show on HBO. It's about the early years of the wealthy people of New York City.
Right.
It starts
good?
a little slow. It's good. It's like pretty dramatic. It's like, wealth, power, early New York City, new money, old money, like.
So it's based in like the early 1900s, you're saying?
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Like the Vanderbilts and like that time, right?
Yeah, Asters.
Right.
You know, people like that.
All the fraud.
Yeah, the big fraudsters.
Yeah,
The fraudsters.
Okay, that's good. Anand?
I don't know if we've talked about it. I'm kind of been a blur the last week. The Kevin Hart Mark Twain special on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I watched
good.
a little bit of that. It's really good.
It's really good.
Really? I'll watch it.
He had Seinfeld, Chappelle, and Chris Rock as the big stars.
Yeah. Tiffany Haddish was good too.
Tiffany Haddish was there. Nick Cannon actually was really funny.
Really funny. He was made me
JB
crying
Smoove
laughing.
was funny.
Yeah, I'll watch that. I kept seeing it and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was just like a ceremony. So I kept skipping over it. But
he has an incredible talent to engage the joke when he's being made fun of.
Yeah.
The way he laughs at himself.
Yeah.
Right.
He does that at all the roasts.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's just an incredible actor or he's actually
Well, that's
laughing.
part of his shtick.
Yeah.
yeah, I think in that like roast culture, you got to learn to take it well.
I watched a little bit of Nikki Glazer's special last night.
I hated it.
It was too much.
It's like
What
weird.
platform is it on?
Netflix. I don't know. It was just like,
Well, I watched one on
was like-
HBO. There's one on HBO that's like you're gonna die soon or something, or you only live once or something like that.
yeah.
But
She
also
definitely has a moment post Tom Brady.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
went on
but-
like every podcast and
Definitely.
I just kept getting fed clips.
I just feel like she's really good at roasting, and her comedy it didn't work for me. It just wasn't funny. It was her talking about why she'll never have kids, and I don't know. Just didn't love it. Great roaster though. Crushed it on Tom Brady.
Yeah, she's a good roaster.
Is it me? Okay, mine. Once again, we're back to fighting UFC 302 this weekend. Dustin Poirier, Islam Makhachev, Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa.
I know two of the four names.
You know Sean Strickland?
Moana.
I know Strickland and Poirier.
Yep, that's the two you should know.
Are they the
It'll be good.
favorites in each of their fights?
I don't believe so. I don't have the odds here. I think Islam is probably favored to beat Dustin Poirier, and I think Sean Strickland might be favored. I don't know. But it's going to be good. So, I know at least some of our audience is with me, even if the two guys here aren't. But also, we have a weekend full of playoffs games. So, fuck yeah.
All right.
A lot of sports.
All right, there you have it. We don't have any shout outs this today. Everyone have a great rest of your week and weekend. This is 2 episodes in a row with all 3 of us. Things are going well. So we'll see you on Sunday. Cross your fingers.
I'll be gone for a bit.
Ah, shit.
Just a heads up.
Everyone jump in on his DMs. I want everyone getting the same treatment I got.
Yep. Fuck them.
Fuck them. All right, guys. See you later.
Peace.